to be done.
In Oakland, Mayor Libby Schaaf wants the verdict to be the start of a conversation.
We've learned over this last year that we can gather together across the nation, across the globe, as a community and in conversation to actually make the plans for where we go from here.
In a statement, Senator Dianne Feinstein says she has great respect for law enforcement, but she always believes there must be transparency and accountability, and that the trial and the verdict are steps in that direction. Margie Schaefer, KCBS.
Earlier today, we spoke with Judge Ladoris Cordell, who is a former San Jose Independent Police Auditor and former Municipal and Superior Court Judge in Santa Clara County. Judge, thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon. What did you make of the verdict?
Well, I'm not surprised by the verdict because the prosecution presented a very tough case. And so during the trial, the most important people in that courtroom were the jurors. And now the most important person in that courtroom is going to be the judge, because the judge decides what happens to Derek Chauvin. He's been convicted of 3 counts, 3 felony charges. If he could face up to the maximum of 40 years in prison for the second-degree murder. He could face up to 25 years for third-degree murder. He could face up to 10 years for second-degree murder. And so it is really going to be up to the judge. And I believe at sentencing, this will be the first time that we'll hear from Mr. Chauvin, because he'd be foolish not to make a statement to talk to the judge about who he is and how he feels about what he has done and what is ahead for him. So judges have discretion in sentencing, and we'll see what the judge does in this case.
Have you been able to glean anything from the judge's comments thus far in this trial as to where he might go with sentencing?
You know, the judge has been very good in remaining at least visibly impartial. He has not been biased to one side or the other, which is exactly what judges should do. In my view, he conducted the trial in a very fair fashion, and it was very efficient. This trial was an example of how trials should be handled, because he had also very good lawyers on both sides who were very respectful of the process. So it's not clear what the judge will do. What I can tell you, though, is that Minnesota has sentencing guidelines that recommend about 12 and a half years in prison for each of the murder charges and about 4 years for the manslaughter charges.
That's Judge Ladoris Cordell.
Well, Governor Gavin Newsom took to Twitter following today's verdict to say, quote, "George Floyd would still be alive if he looked like me. That must change. No conviction can repair the harm done to the Floyd family, but today's verdict provides accountability. Now we must continue our work to root out the racial injustice."
Good looks great. Decision in the George Floyd murder trial. Derek Chauvin was on trial. George Floyd, the victim, found guilty. Second-degree murder, guilty. Third-degree murder, guilty. On the manslaughter charge as well. And then I just wonder if you're feeling more hope today than yesterday. I talked to a number of people yesterday. You were kind enough to call it 80-80-810, 80-80-810. Had some really great conversations, and I just wonder. There was a lot of anxiety. I kind of picked that up. A lot of anxiety, frustration, of course, and a lot of people saying, "Listen, this is not today. This is 300 years of pain that we've suffered." And I thought, that's a great point. It is. This is just one moment in time. But do you feel more hope today than you did yesterday? Let's go to Oakland. Lawrence, you start us off this hour. Lawrence, thanks for hanging on there, my friend. It's good to hear from you.
It's very nice talking to you for the first time, and I enjoy your show. But listen, I know this is a feel-good moment right now. But we have to understand that tomorrow morning, police chiefs, mayors, and will go out and give their officers instructions to enforce laws. And we have to understand, law enforcement goes down into like several different categories. We have states where African Americans make less than 25% of the population, and we see 60 to 75% of all citations. So this is an ongoing battle we've been fighting in the United States for 200 years plus. So law enforcement is a reflection of the power structure. So we can feel happy for tonight, but what goes on tomorrow in terms of how we're going
to push the market up, and it's all fake, 475%, so the very rich can get richer. Not Main Street. Main Street doesn't benefit. This is amazing. Now let's take 16% of the 211% increase in debt. Now, if you take between March of 2020, March of 2021, the S&P went up 91%. Earnings, profits, margins, top-line sales? No! What are you, nuts? Because they increased their debt. Their debt. If they didn't increase their debt by 16%, the market wouldn't have moved. That's right. It's all this debt, and it's this debt that's going to kill you. We are delusional when it comes to debt. The only people who benefit from debt increasing.
Entonces, y ya me lo enseñó.
Look in the mirror and smile at yourself, because you're beautiful when you smile. I'm Tanita on the Black Information Network.
At Bank of America, we recognize that our long-standing commitment to serving the Black community is as important as ever. That's why we're honored to be one of the founding partners of the Black Information Network. This unique platform delivers unbiased, reliable, and responsible news from a Black perspective in communities across the country. Our support of BIN's mission is part of Bank of America's ongoing commitment to strengthening and better serving our local communities. We believe that this partnership can help bring people together and create lasting societal change. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
A special thank you to 23andMe,
a proud founding partner who shares and supports the mission of the Black Information Network.
The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed in this commentary are those of the author and do not necessarily represent those of BIN and its founding partners and employees. Now it's time to bring the funk with Roland S. Martin.
Boy, there's always something from Republicans and conservatives. They're always outraged and mad and angered by something. And they always decry cancel culture, and now they're actually trying to cancel California Congresswoman Maxine Waters, because when she was in Minneapolis on Sunday speaking to reporters as she was walking in between talking with protesters, she said this.
I am very hopeful, and I hope that we're going to get a verdict that will say guilty, guilty, guilty. And if we don't, we cannot go away. We got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
So now you got Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says he wants to censure Maxine Waters. You got nutcase Marjorie Greene out of Georgia. She should be expelled from Congress. The New York Post and Fox News and all of these people are going crazy because of her comments. I did David Brody's show, and he was saying, why can't she hold a news conference and clear this up? And I'm like, clear up what? Clear up what? Oh, well, she said confrontational. I said, confrontational does not mean go beat people up. It doesn't mean violence. I said, that's what you inferred.
And he was able to put that one away. So Longoria robbed of a base hit. Now Brandon Bell. Bell got the walk. There have been a couple of walks that have played into this one in a big way for the Giants. Now the pitch, Bell swings, and it's a ground ball to second. Could be two. Knapp over to second one. Maton back to first. And it is.
Today's talking about Pinder and Puck.
Yeah, Puck has not gone to the mound yet, still in a long toss program. Pinder has done some hitting, but...
Bola, la cuenta es 2 bolas y 2 strikes. Parecen amarillos, fue lo que dijo un colega.
Okay. Dice los zapatos.
Sí, dice un colega por allá, Martín Gallegos, en un tweet, parecen amarillos. Y yo voy a un paredón diciendo que eso es naranja, pero bueno, naranja, amarillo, pero no son blancos, pero como lo que quiera ponerse el azules, con tal de que piche bien. La ve pasar y se poncha para el segundo out del capítulo y viene a batear Lauriano.
Sí, eso es un debate, pero yo diría que quizá más color naranja sería el uniforme de los Astros de Houston.
Sí.
O
no,
los
yo
Gigantes de
no
San Francisco.
What has unfolded, and because of their different perspectives. And I think and I hope
I hope Tuesday is a step towards saying, can we come back to this table and acknowledge the pain and the devastation that you feel, especially if you're black in this country? I'm never going to not say that. Right. But can we come back to the table and acknowledge that it's important for all of us that we acknowledge this and deal with this and find a way to heal and move forward.
Great stuff by our friend Myron Metcalf, not just an ESPN.com reporter, but also an ESPN radio host, and a man who has a conscience of understanding when it comes to sports and society, especially in the aftermath of the verdict involving the death of George Floyd. Last year, Derek Chauvin found guilty on all 3 counts. He joined us here on Freddie and Fitzsimmons. My brother, in the words of Adam Clayton Powell Jr., keep the faith.
Thank you, guys.
He's Ian Fitzsimmons. Hit him on Twitter.
You know, I remember when my teenage son started yelling. Where did you learn that?
I really started believing in that, and last week I made a hair oil for him just for his dry hair, because with all the amla and curry leaves and mustard seed and onion in that, I made him a special oil with a bottle, and his dad are fighting now for that bottle of oil. They're like, this is mine, this is
See, and especially this generation, as you were talking, that 15-year-old, so this generation believes in result. They believe in logics. If something shows positive result, they will believe it.
They will believe it, and especially this millennia जो हमारी जो ये आ रही है generation next, वो जो है believe करना चाहती है इन सब चीजों में, because somehow with the technology कह लो या फिर किसी भी चीज से कह लो, उनकी curiosity कह लो, क्योंकि उनके पास time है, तो वो इस चीज के बारे में और जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या है जो ह्यूमन लाइफ को एक्सपैंड करती है, क्या है वेलनेस का टर्म, क्योंकि आज के दौरान देखा जाए तो वेदिका हेल्थ जो है एक मेडिकल टर्म हो गई है, एक जो है कहें कि हम एक कमर्शियल टर्म हो गई है,
राइट।
तो
portfolio, that's what we already have, but how can we do it better, and what else can we do to protect ourselves, and what do we do in that 40%? That's the tough question that we've been asking in the investment committee here and trying to get those answers, and those are the answers that we've looked at a couple of them, and they look pretty good, and we're going to implement them. Once we've done that in our portfolios, then I'll talk about that in the radio and share that with you, why and how we're looking at all of these different things. And that's really, but that's, we still have time. Inflation is not going to run away in the short term. I think we have another 3 to 6 months. I still think rates are going up. 10 years, 1.562. I think he'll go to 2%, which is, another 50 basis point increase from where we are now. Will that be the end of the world? No. Will that create volatility in the stock market? Yes. That's why you have the shock absorbers built in. That's why you have a diversified portfolio. If you are one of those go-go guys, you will be gone. That's happened to all those go-go people who buy those go-go stocks. They're go-go gone. That's what happens to their portfolios and to their financial.
Another difference would be the tendency to have tendentious footnotes and tendentious translations. To give you an example, Romans chapter, let me start with Ephesians 2 as an example, where it says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not of yourself. This is a gift of God. This is not of works, lest anyone should boast." And the word work, or works in this case, is the same word in the Greek that you will find.
ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 44 ਲੱਖ ਟੀਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ। ਕੋਰਟ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਬਰਬਾਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਗਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ। ਕੋਈ 16 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ 60 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਕਸੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ।
為孩子們創造光明嘅州府嘅減稅措施亦都將俾嗰啲財務困難中嘅中產階級節省資金。毫無疑問，佢話紐約州將會係恢復得比以前更加好。而家最重要嘅就係幫助民眾走出呢場嘅危機，逐步重建經濟。韋姆話：到咗2025年州府減稅計劃結束嘅時候，
Y por supuesto de la mano de nuestra Madre María que siempre nos acompaña. Esa gran oportunidad de gracia.
Nhọc nhằn vất vả lắm đó chứ không phải không đâu. Nhưng có người bên cạnh cái sự vất vả nhọc nhằn đó, mình cũng có được cái phương cách để mà nhắc nhở đến với quý vị mình bảo tồn, mình giữ gìn.
16 de Raúl Torres, el 18 de América.
Can you hear me, Mr. Police? Mr. Police Chief, can you hear me? Apparently not. I don't know. Should we fix this, Rick, or what? We're trying to get him. It is a pleasure to have him if I get him. Mr. Detroit Police Chief, James Craig, are you there, sir? All right, we're going to try and get him again. I have enormous respect for this man. Doesn't mean the time.